and welcome to part 2 of Jack's drive training session. Jack's just about to indicate, for nobody's benefit, let's have a little bit of a listen in.
Is there a downside to signalling in a scenario like that?
I do it for
Yes,
that reason.
I'll tell you why. So here's the thing,
Yeah.
if we were going to be American. Signalling kind of psychologically validates the manoeuvre and therefore empowers you to think that it's okay to do.
Okay.
I'm not saying don't signal. I'm definitely not saying don't signal.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is think of why we're
you're
signalling
doing it.
and does it add anything?
Yeah.
This is actually the Milam Road.
So we're just about to have a little chat with Jack about limits. His discipline in the lower limits isn't as good as we'd like, so let's start to sort that out.
Try and discipline yourself a bit, coming into 30, 40 limits
Yeah.
to hitting the limits. Don't let the hands ride up.
Yeah.
So as soon as you see the bike, check the mirror,
Yeah.
bring the vehicle out, make it the most safe for the bike, not for us, think of most safe for the bike, and then just mirror it and drop it in again. You know your lifesavers on your bike?
Yeah.
Think about something similar in the car. You know, when you come past a vehicle at Snet on the back straight going up 140 mile an hour or something, and you drop it out and then put it back again,
Yeah.
you might not have considered that there's another car overtaking you at the same time. So always, before you occupy a space, is it really available to me? And before you avail yourself of space, is it truly available? Vision all the way up, nothing going on behind. Keep the car going. Okay. Come on. Desperate for tea now. Come on. So we need some figures on this car. There's the old Litcham Road. So speed limit ahead, nothing going on behind.
Yeah.
Road narrows. Look at the road surface. One vehicle, 30 limit. And mile and tea room should be on our left.
Lovely.
Maybe. Village shop, post office, and tea room. I reckon it's probably about 600 meters ahead, maybe 550 now.
Where are the tea rooms?
It's now about 320 meters ahead of us on our left.
Yeah.
Auf der linken Seite hier, dort ist ein Schild. This is nicht ein Schild, this is ein Flag, but I don't know what flag is in German. I know what sign is in German. There are signs up there, aren't there? It looks like it says cafe kind of thing.
On the right.
People are out busy shoveling here. God, he's raking it in, isn't he? It's open.
That looks tea roomy, doesn't it?
Don't skim the truck because his door might open.
Yeah.
Let's go and think about parking up for the village store and cafe and whatever. Stop behind that lovely Passat.
Okay, so coming into the stop, a little bit of observation behind the shops, see what's going on, anybody's hanging about before we bring the vehicle to its rest position.
It's got a dog in the back.
Yeah, it's kind of like the 4 stages of competence.
Competence. So yeah. For the unconscious incompetence. I'm not very good, but I don't know it. I'm consciously incompetent. Yeah, you're right there.
Okay, so Jack's about to demonstrate the standard mistake that people make when approaching a vehicle ahead and losing the opportunity for a safe and effective overtake.
Another one
Far
coming.
too close to Tesco lorry.
Yeah.
So we're stymied here. So I'm not sure what we're doing here. So we've got vision behind to the Merc.
There's a van coming out.
Okay. What's going on?
Nothing there. We've got a left-hand bend at the top. Tractor's indicating.
Okay. But try and keep a little bit more space. Space affords vision and opportunity.
It's like the literal. I think it might be Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. Peaky Blinders was being filmed at the, what's it called, wasn't it? Up where we were last week, in a quarry.
The new series.
Yeah. Well, they can't be filming the old series.
Very true.
There's the barn,
I didn't
cafe and
know there was a
restaurant
new
there.
series, that was all.
Must be. So, church, school.
We'll leave Jack's Road Day at this point and make a quick transition across to Snetterton Racetrack. Here we're looking to employ all the techniques that we learnt the previous day on the road and apply them to the higher energy levels of the racetrack.
Put a bit of temperature into the car.
After a short break, we are doing a further installation lap. Now, what is an installation lap? It's the lap where you put temperature into the car, you put temperature into yourself, you discover how the track is compared to last time you went out, and just build yourself up. If this is your first ever lap around the track, you need to start noticing things, seeing where things are, seeing where the marshal's posts are, where the grip is, where the water is, where the ice may be. It's all about discovery. Don't rush out intending to go fast on your first lap. Big mistake.
It should be virtually no. You can see where the dirt's been taken away. Just follow the caterer. 3, 2, 1, go on. The other caterer will want to join his mate, as you know.
The observant among you may wonder why I don't appear to look at Jack, and indeed seem to be looking away. Well, my main area of concern with a relative novice driver is management of those things around us. Ahead is easy to see, behind we have to keep getting observations of. I know what Jack's doing because the car is transmitting it to me, how tight his hands are on the wheel, how he turns in. The car is relaying all of this information, so the need to look at Jack is perhaps less than you might think.
You're holding the steering a little bit too tight there and you can feel it in the front end. Now start to let it run towards the paintwork.
As we mentioned in yesterday's road day clip, there is this situation where one car may overtake and another is following it, just as in this scene here. As you can see, there's a lot of rear observation taking place on this straight.
Behind it looks meganish to me.
Because the vehicles behind us that we can easily see now are going to be a lot more difficult to observe as we come into these bends. So the Megane we pick up on the straight approaching us, we can now deal with as we exit this corner.
And then follow him, sit on him. Fold it in, get it into the bomb hole. See, you didn't quite get the apex there, and therefore we had a little bit of requirements on the way out. Just keep it nice and steady through. It's a kind of towards 80 mile an hour kind of corner, isn't it? 2 available lines here as well. Okay, off you go. Follow Mr. Megan. Sit behind them again if you want. Keep it going. Be fairly precise on the line. Take your eye in, steering quite slowly. Try not to leap out off the brake. Like you see, you're steering several times through there because you've put quite an early input in rather than a more measured one.
Okay.
Nothing going on behind us, around us, or inside of us. Fold it in, make sure you get the apex, keep adding till you get the apex, and then start to run it out. Use all the space you've got. Again, turn it in reasonably slowly. You're braking early for this corner, and that would encourage you to turn in early. Make sure you nibble into that bit of paintwork there. You're still having to steer the car after the apex, have you noticed?
Yeah. Turn in more.
So you need to turn in more.
In essence, taking a turn on track is very similar to the road, where we're using brake for control and enabling us to get the apex, and then using throttle to drive the car away from the apex. It's very common for people to brake early, turn in early, and get on the throttle early, and then wonder why they never ever get an apex. For every turn, we have a turning point, an apex, and an exit. The apex is going to be critical. This is actually defined by the turn-in, but that is for a real on-track lesson. The apex itself, if we fail to hit it, we'll find ourselves needing a lot of space on the way out, and of course, next to the truck is the grass. We may end up needing that space, and that's the recipe for a visit to the barrier.
Take it to the paint on the exit.
Yeah.
Nothing going on behind us. Pick a brake marker and then reference it. Okay, that's entirely fine. In fact, it's early. We braked at the 3. You're actually accelerating into the turn as you notice.
Way too much
Fold it in.
there.
Let it run out a little bit. Off you go. Go, go, go. Make sure you get your nose into the bomb hole. Nothing going on the inside. Make sure you get it into there. Rear's not overly grippy, is it?
No.
As a result, we're going into here quite a lot slower than last time.
Yeah.
That was in, folded in, beamer's coming in, off you go. Notice
we've had a day on the road and a day at Snetterton Racetrack. Same car, same driver, different scenarios, but the same skills being demonstrated on both. The critical skills are management of oneself, having some headspace, managing the car, getting a feel for it by being relaxed, and the management of the environment around us, ahead and behind. So skills learned on the road can be transferred very effectively onto the racetrack once we understand exactly what we're trying to achieve. And similarly, track skills of higher energy teach the relaxation that's also required on the road. So the same key skills on road and track? Well, just about. The road gives us the highly populated environment, the track gives us the high energy environment. Similar skills though, but not always easy to achieve for the relatively inexperienced driver. Because of this, we have aimed to develop both in one scenario with our skill drills day, where we can run a track scenario but control the environment so the driver is left free to concentrate on the skills until they get them to a high level. Once we have this, we can then transfer to a real track situation where the control is now down to the driver rather than the instructor sat next to them.
You got some tightness on the steering.
Thank you for watching our little peek into Jack's 2 days of training on the road and the track. Whilst I do a debrief of Jack after one of his sessions, I'd like to thank you for watching this clip. Hopefully you've learned something from it, got some ideas from it. If you'd like to like us and subscribe to our channel, visit us at drivertuition.com, like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. I'll leave you to listen in to a little bit of Jack's debrief and see you next time on Driver Tuition.
I'm going into corners thinking, right, what do I need to do then? What do I need to do there? And I'm thinking it through before I get to the corner a bit, which is giving me more time to digest and process things.
Yeah. So what we actually need is, I go on all the time about this headspace exercise, where you've got enough processing space in your head to be able to do more than what you're just doing.
Yeah.
If you're really busy on what you're doing, you won't have any extra to actually think, is this the right thing to be doing?
Yeah.
So once we've done the morning thing and it's done a certain thing, and then I drove you around and then you have nothing to do other than watch, then it becomes quite. Thank you, Andrew. It's very good at taking the mickey. It means you've got nothing to do other than watch and thinking, yeah, I can see this and I can see that, and then it kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And then that session, it kind of worked an awful lot better. And clearly, I'm encouraging you at the same time.
Yeah.
Let the arms relax. Because the moment as soon as you think the car's going to oversteer, you just need to let the upper body relax, because you're going to replace the front steering with some rear steering.
Yeah.
So you kind of want the front steering to fall off the car. So the moment the rear starts to steer, we just accommodate it.
Yeah.
And if you can relax to do that, which is kind of the opposite of what people feel like they need to do, you think you need to tense up and save it.
Yeah.
But you kind of need to relax and save it and allow the car to do. And because you're not jumping out the throttle, the car continues in its attitude. If you just jump off the throttle, once the car oversteers and you take throttle off, it exacerbates the oversteer, because it creates a pivot point.
Yeah.
And you can see that when we were going into the braking areas, the brakes are what gives us this pivot into the corner.
Yeah.
And they kind of lock the car down, don't they?
Yeah.
It's much the same as what we were doing on the road yesterday, except at higher speeds, of course.
Yeah.
But there's still, when we said yesterday about having control from the braking, that's what's important, because we've got a little speed loss to do. So the speed loss is in the first part of the braking area, but then the control comes in the second part of the braking area. And when we were talking yesterday about don't waste your braking too early, if you get it right on the circuit, you know where the braking point is, you know where the point is to lose the speed, and then you've still got the last bit of semblance of slowing down, which is now we're calling control in a way, taking it into the corner. And that felt so much better. And also, making the vehicle more accurate was more through the feet again, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can't precision control the car with the steering, because if you're at the limit and you add more steering, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't tighten up at all, does it?
No.
But just lifting throttle a little bit, having the presence of mind to lift the throttle a little bit, tightens the line. And that's why you need this kind of upper head space to do what you need to do. So, in essence, you just need to relax.
Yeah, and I feel like that session felt much easier on the car as well, because it's much less stressed. I'm putting less inputs in. I feel like it's working less hard.
It's working more four square, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not leaning on one corner trying to make everything happen. It's kind of dancing around on each element.
Yeah.
So it is more balanced. So you're not going to have the severe near side front wear on a tyre that you'd have on a traditional clockwise circuit, where that tyre's just been asked to do everything. If you can get that balance, you see, when you come off brake in a straight line, you just get pitch. But when you've got a roll angle in the car and you come out of brake, pitch and roll give you yaw.
Yep.
So it's enabling the car to change direction. And you're telling it which direction to change by that. So that's guiding it, the rate of the direction change. We had one really good entry into Rich's where we carried speed in, and there was a modulation going in that felt really nice. When you hit the brake in the brake. So, if you'd like to take part in what you've just seen, why not visit us at drivattrition.com, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.